Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. We bring you a story now from the early 1800s, the dawn of the Sikh kingdom, the dawn of one of the most powerful states in all of Asia, one of the most advanced, formidable states in all of Asia. And the success of the Sikh kingdom was on the principles of Sikhi, the principle of Sarvat Da Bala, where Guru Nanak Dev Ji said, treat all human beings equally. All the citizens, regardless of caste, creed, religion or colour, were all treated equally by Maharaja Ranjit Singh. And that's why the state was so advanced. That's why the state was so forward-thinking. And its formidability, well, that was built on the Khalsa, begun by Guru Gobind Singh Ji. The Khalsa had some of the most amazing commanders at its disposal at that time. One of those was Hari Singh Nalwa. Hari Singh Nalwa was born during the dawn of the Sikh kingdom. Just as the Sikh missile system was coming to the end, the birth of Hari Singh Nalwa in 1791 was the beginning of the success and the rise of Sikh power. In 1798, Hari Singh Nalwa lost his father, and by 1801, at the age of 10, Hari Singh Nalwa took Amrit. For the rest of his life, Hari Singh Nalwa was a devout Sikh who followed the philosophy espoused by the 10 gurus with the one light that currently resides in the Shabad Guru. Hari Singh Nalwa did a lot of Naam Simran. Hari Singh Nalwa contemplated Akal Purakh any time that he could, and during this time he built up a lot of strength, he built up a lot of bravery, and of course it gave him the kind of enlightened thinking that would serve him well in the future. In 1804, at the age of just 14, he was sent to the court of Maharaja Ranjit Singh by his mother to resolve a property dispute. It was at this time that Maharaja Ranjit Singh found out from Hari Singh Nalwa about his ancestry, about his family tree, how his father and his grandfather had attained Shaheedi, fighting for the grandfather and grandfather of Maharaja Ranjit Singh, fighting for the Sarkar Khalsa. Happy with his history, Maharaja Ranjit Singh gave him a small menial job at the Lahore Darbar, the court of Maharaja Ranjit Singh. However, during the same year at the age of 14, during an expedition of Maharaja Ranjit Singh in the jungles of Punjab, Hari Singh Nalwa came face to face with a lion. Despite being surrounded by many of Maharaja Ranjit Singh's most able forces, Hari Singh Nalwa said, "No, leave this to me." He came face to face with the lion, brought out his Siddhi Sahib, brought out his shield, faced the lion. After a few minutes of staring at each other, the lion pounced on Hari Singh Nalwa, and with one swipe, one strike of Hari Singh Nalwa's sword, the lion was slain. Not only did he find himself admired by Maharaja Ranjit Singh, but the entire Sikh kingdom, the entire Sikh Panth, took notice of just this 14-year-old young Sikh with a lot of potential. Over the following years, Hari Singh Nalwa did a lot of Naam Simran. Hari Singh Nalwa did a lot of Path. Hari Singh Nalwa spent a lot of time thinking about the wonders of the primal entity known as Akal Purakh. And it was during these times of meditation, when he reached the same wavelength of the one light, the same wavelength we all aim to reach, that he started building up a lot of physical and a lot of mental bravery. At the age of 17, he took part in his first battle, the Battle of Kasur. And it was under this expedition that his bravery and his intelligence, his ability to think outside the box, first brought him to the recognition of other Sikh commanders. And his bravery, his courage, and his skill with a sword won him a small jagir and a commandership of a few hundred Sikh soldiers. The following year, he was given his own detachment of forces at the Battle of Sialkot, where his unbelievable swordsmanship, his leadership, won him yet another battle, and at this point he'd become a leading commander of the Sikh forces. During the reign of Maharaja Ranjit Singh, he took part in all of the famous battles of his day. Battles like the battle of Nawashera, the battle of Sialkot, the battle of Atak, the expedition of Kashmir, the battle of Jamrud. He was there in every single battle as a commander-in-chief of the Sikh forces. For thousands of years, India had been under oppression, and all the invaders had used a gateway that was Punjab to take the riches of the rest of India through Punjab. For the first time in history, Hari Singh Nalwa turned the battle, turned the tide, and all of a sudden he built an empire that extended not just to the Indus River, but all the way into Afghanistan, into the Khyber Pass, and all of a sudden it was the Sikhs that were now taking control of their enemies. Hari Singh Nalwa, however, wasn't just a Sikh of the true Guru. He didn't just spend all his time doing Naam Simran. He didn't just spend all his time fighting battles. He was also a forward thinker. And when Maharaja Ranjit Singh opted for Prince Karak Singh to be his heir apparent, Hari Singh Nalwa already saw problems. Karak Singh, who had already started to develop a love for the illusion of this world and Maya, Hari Singh Nalwa knew that under the leadership of Karak Singh, the Sikh kingdom would be in trouble. However, Maharaja Ranjit Singh was not to be swayed. Hari Singh Nalwa, however, left everything to Akal Purakh. He left everything. He did not want to cause any friction within the Sikh Panth. He was given the governorship of Peshawar, right on the edge of the Sikh Empire, one of the most hazardous places, a place that hasn't been subdued by the Russians, the Americans, the British, had been subdued by Hari Singh Nalwa. When Hari Singh Nalwa used to be in the vicinity, the wives of the Pathan tribesmen used to say, Rage Hari Singh, to scare their children and put them to sleep. Hari Singh Nalwa had such a love for Sikhi. It was under his leadership that Gurdwara Banja Sahib was built, where earlier Guru Nanak had stopped a rock with his bare hands. Hari Singh Nalwa continued to serve the Sikh Panth with love, with dedication, with devotion. In 1837, during the marriage of Prince Naunihal Singh, all of the Sikh armies were brought back from the edges of the Sikh Empire. Hari Singh Nalwa himself was too ill to attend the wedding, and it was during this time that Dost Muhammad Khan realised an opportunity to take back Peshawar. Realising that most of the Sikh forces had gathered in Lahore for the wedding of Naunihal Singh, realising that Hari Singh Nalwa was ill, he attacked the fort of Peshawar. But Hari Singh Nalwa, despite his weakened state, straight away leapt into battle with his Jakara gajave fateh paave nihal ho jave Sat Sri Akal. He entered the battle fray. He entered with his sword, striking down his opponents one by one. Hari Singh Nalwa, despite his weakened state, took command of what Sikh forces were left, what Sikh forces were remaining, and fought a brave encounter, but was mortally wounded by a gunshot wound by one of the Pathan tribesmen. Not wanting to show any weakness, not wanting to dishearten his Sikh army, he showed and told his commanders, do not tell the rest of the army of the extent of my injuries. He was taken down to a tent, where for the rest of the battle he did Naam Simran. Vahe Guru, Vahe Guru, Vahe Guru. When news of the victory was given to Hari Singh Nalwa, within minutes of receiving knowledge of the Sikh victory, Hari Singh Nalwa left his physical body and his light joined the one light, and he joined the force, the Akal Purakh that surrounds us all. Hari Singh Nalwa's death was mourned throughout the Sikh kingdom. Maharaja Ranjit Singh cried like he's never cried before. Even after Hari Singh Nalwa had died, within 60 years of his death, exploits of his heroic nature were such that a British newspaper actually produced an article on the leading commanders of his time, where commanders such as Napoleon, where Turkish commanders, Greek commanders were all mentioned. And he said, they questioned who is the greatest commander of them all. And the newspaper article wrote, it might surprise you, but one Hari Singh Nalwa of the Sikhs, a Khalsa commander, was perhaps the most extraordinary of all. Had he lived a little bit longer, had he had the same advanced artillery given to other competing empires of his time, there is no doubt a Sikh Raj would have extended throughout all of Asia. We salute the heroic nature, the dedication to the Sikh Panth and the love for the Shabad Guru that Commander General Singh Nalwa showed. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.